Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at gcnlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Here we go. Your dial set correctly to USAPrepares.com. We're delighted you're here. We're broadcasting 2 hours from high atop the Missouri Ozark Mountains. There's a link to your instructors on the website, USAPrepares.com, USAPrepares.com. And if you'd like to contact us an easier way, it's just Get Prepared Expo. GetPreparedExpo.com. Trevor's engineering the broadcast in Minnesota. I'm Vincent Finelli. And we have 2 listen lines for you. So if you would like to call on your phone and listen to USA Prepares 24 hours a day, we have 2 numbers. And let us know what you think, if they're working better or not, because we've had some problems with our listen line. 605-562-4080, 605-562-4080. And the next listen line is 605-562-7727. 605-562-7727. We're going to be talking about gardening. And your instructor, Mike Nocks, is with us. I met Mike Nocks years ago, and we were looking for seeds that grew. Yeah, that's right. You know, there are seeds in packages that just don't grow very well. And we didn't want to plant them because by the time you figure out that they didn't grow, it's generally late, sometimes too late. So we sought out Mike Nocks of White Harvest Seed Company, whiteharvestseed.com, whiteharvestseed.com. And we bought some seeds and tried some seeds, and they grow. And Mike Nocks has been with us at the Get Prepared Expo. He's been at the meetups. He's been on the radio with us. And today we're going to learn about how to grow a garden. Welcome, Mike Nocks.
Hey, Vincent, it's good to be here again. How's things going on your end today?
When you say on my end, you know, Mike, you and I are probably only, 23, 24 miles apart. Even if you travel by the road, right? You're right down by Hartville, Missouri.
Yeah, right on it. Yeah, we're not that far away from each other.
Yeah. So, Mike, you know, I was thinking about that story years ago when I called you up and I said, you know, our instructors are interested in buying seeds that grow food in our neck of the woods in Missouri. And we spent about a half hour on the phone and we talked about what to plant, how to plant it. And we bought seeds for our instructors. They have them and they grow. And that's what you do. I mean, you do that very, very well. You figured out what works, what doesn't. You do the testing right on your farm, right?
That is correct. That was one of the things we really wanted to help folks with. You know, our company motto, in a sense, is, you know, we want to be able for folks to have success in their gardening experience. And we work very hard at keeping our seed quality up, the germination tests and all that we do every 10 months. So, yeah, it's, you know, when people are spending their hard-earned money with something, you know, to buy something, you don't want, like you said earlier in your first monologue there, you know, you don't want to have seeds that you spend money on that don't grow, and then you just set behind and you got to go buy more. And, you know, that's just so frustrating. I've been on that end of it, and I'm sure you have too in the past.
No, absolutely. And one of the things that we probably ought to tell our class today, right out of the gate, is where not to plant your garden. That would be in the back corner of the property, the one that's farthest away from where you are. If you plant your garden out there, a lot of things can go wrong, including neglect, right?
That's true. That's true. I mean, gardening's about having fun and enjoying, and that doesn't become a burden. Sometimes people get this wild idea, well, I've got to go plant a acre full of garden, so I'm going to have plenty of food. Well, as because you use the system of the raised bed gardening, we can talk about later maybe, but, it's condensed. You can grow so much in such a small area and have it close to the garden. Have it so that you can take care of it. Because, if you plant too big of a garden, it just boils down to that, the weeds end up getting ahead of you. And then you get behind on picking and harvesting, and then it becomes, I've got to do this, and becomes a burden. And I've seen many gardens, even some of mine in the past, where they have just gotten away from us, and then they look really cruddy, and you just feel bad, and you haven't had an enjoyable experience. But that's what I try to teach folks. Make a garden that you can enjoy working in, be excited to go out into every day, and then the garden in itself will reward you with a bountiful harvest.
Mike, do you want to start with that raised bed gardening technique? Because that's what we use here at the farm. That's what works the best for us. Should we start with that? Because you and Len Pence of gardeningrevolution.com work very well together, and you give seminars, and they're synergistic in approach, because your techniques with seeds and his technique really provide, an awesome garden. And both of you will be at the expo. And every time that you go into your seminar or Len's, they're packed, absolutely packed. Everyone wants to know how to grow a garden. People have come from many states away just to hear you guys speak. So why don't you talk about why you like raised bed gardening? Then let's talk about what seeds to plant and how to do it.
Sure, no problem. Well, the raised bed idea has been around for years. I mean, it started probably way back in the 70s when Mel Bartholomew came up with his square foot gardening techniques, and Len has his system that he's perfected over the years of his experience. And, it's just a way to grow food in a smaller area, in a condensed area, whether you make your border out of wood or concrete blocks, or just, whatever type of retaining walls type things that you can come up with. And then you fill that with, about a foot and a half full of a soilless mixture with a lot of fertilizer and essential elements, nutrients in it. And you'll just be surprised how much you can get out of a smaller area. I mean, Len teaches his system. I think his bed that he purports to sell to folks and teach folks in is a 4 by 16 foot bed for the most part. And I know that he gets around 100 quarts of green beans out of that size of a bed. And he's got a picture on his website of him standing on a ladder picking pole beans, which is our Kentucky Wonder pole bean seed that we have. And they're 30 feet tall. I mean, now, of course, he uses that as a demonstration most of the time, but, a plant that grows 30 feet tall on a pole bean is tremendous. So that's telling you that his nutrient mix is really high and good for the production side. But yeah, it's weed free, so you don't have to be out there weeding it, like you do in a regular garden. Though, some regular gardens, we use a combination. We use raised beds, we use containers, and we use the regular old row cropping that everybody's familiar with in our garden season. So, but yeah, it's a tremendous way to grow things, and it's so convenient, and it's actually even portable in a sense. You can pick up your concrete blocks, shape them any way you want.
So, class, if you'd like to use concrete blocks, you separate them, if you want to use the system, by about 4 feet. So the inside dimensions are 4 feet by 16 feet. It takes about 64 blocks, if I'm not mistaken, to build this. And you want to be about 2 blocks high. Isn't that right, Mike Nocks?
For the most part, yeah, that's what I recommend. I mean, you can get by with 1 layer high, but the deeper the soil, the better you're going to get more air, more water, and just, when you're growing sweet potatoes and potatoes or carrots, you want to have a deep soil so that it will allow it to expand and get you the most bang for your buck.
Mm-hmm. And then what you can do is you can put pieces of plastic pipe, inside the cores of these blocks, and you can fill them with dirt or with concrete, the core that has a piece of plastic pipe. And the pipe might be 1 1/4 inches in diameter. And then what you do is you put them opposite each other, let's say every 3 or 4 feet, going down the raised bed garden. Then you can take a piece of plastic pipe and bend it into a U shape. And I'm talking about common water pipe. The black pipe works fine. And you can stick it in those cores that have the 1 1/2 or 1 1/4 inch PVC in there. And that will support the pipe. And then you can put plastic over it and make a hoop house, kind of like a little greenhouse to extend your gardening season and also warm up the soil earlier so you can start growing earlier. So, Mike, in terms of soil, how important is it to get the rocks out?
Well, Vincent, we're here in the Ozarks, and I think we've got like maybe half an inch of soil, and the rest of it's dirt or rocks and stuff. Yeah. But that's one advantage of the raised beds. You don't have to fight the rocks, and that's one thing. You can always grow rocks here in the Ozarks, and we just came back from Tennessee, and they had the same struggle down there in the spots that we were at. But soil is very important. Believe it or not, a lot of people think, well, you can just throw seed out on the ground and it'll grow. Well, that's true. Just like in the parable in the Bible where Jesus talks about the sowing the seed, he said some fell on thin soil and it grew up and then it died. So there's so much better results when your soil is nice and loose and is able to let air and water to go into it. And that's one key thing. Even if you don't have a raised bed, if you have just a regular row crop gardening, till in some sawdust, peat moss, some other elements that will loosen up that clay soil or rocky soil. So it just allows it to be more aerated, and you'll be tremendously surprised of how well your plants will respond to that and start doing a lot better. But soil is a key element, especially with trace minerals, need to be added to it on a regular yearly basis. You bet.
Mike, when I lived in Virginia, there was a church down the road from our farmhouse. And I was talking to one of the elders of the church, and we were standing out in front, and there were two trees that were planted, maybe 50 feet apart. And one of them was beautiful and magnificent, and the other was small, and maybe 1/4 the size at best. Mm-hmm. And he said, Vincent, we planted these like 25 years ago. And that one over there fell on good soil. The other one didn't. And that's exactly what you're talking about. So there was a perfect example that if you knew when these trees were planted, and you could see they were on the same lawn right in front of the church. One landed on good soil and grew vigorously, and the other was struggling and was pretty scrawny. So soil really, really is important. When we come back, Mike, let's talk about what we should be planting right now. What should we plant right now so that we have food in our garden? And let's make it a successful garden. Mike Nocks, whiteharvestseed.com. And you can meet him at the Get Prepared Expo. Okay, class, who wants to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? All spiders have 8 legs, but do the hairy ones have the most meat? Is it true grasshopper legs taste like chicken? Which bugs have the most protein? Which are best served dried and which are best eaten while still alive? Which bugs are the most dangerous for your children to eat? Do you like the sound of this? We don't either, so you'll have to go to a government-sponsored expo for cooking with bugs. The Get Prepared Expo has so many great seminars, we had to cross the poorly attended ones off our list, like the Red Cross, FEMA, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the Department of Education, the Internal Revenue Service, the American Cancer Society, CERT, and Homeland Security. We can't help everyone, just the really bright people, the top 1% of thinkers and doers, like you. The rest, the other 99% who don't think and don't do, well, the government's standing ready to help them. The Get Prepared Expo, the last weekend in March. For details, visit getpreparedexpo.com.
Quantitative easing, unemployment at depression levels, Europe financial system falling apart, China getting out of U.S. treasuries. At the end of 2008, the time of TARP, the national debt was at $11 trillion, gold trading around $850 per ounce. Close to 2012, the national debt exceeded $16.4 trillion, gold doubled to $1,600 per ounce. The $20 trillion threshold for the national debt is inevitable. Politicians in Washington have a ferocious appetite for spending and stimulus. What's worse, a printing press to finance. 100 years ago, we had a gold standard to limit this madness, but now you have to adopt your own gold standard. Don't be fooled with paper promises. Get Midas Resources 10 Reasons to Buy Gold free by calling 800-686-2237. Understanding the gold and silver market may be the only insurance you could have to avoiding the next economic crisis. Call 1-800-686-2237 and order your free copy. Again, that's 800-686-2237.
Did you know that drinking pure, high alkaline water is one of the most important factors in maintaining high energy and vibrant health? Most experts agree that the water you drink should be at a pH level of 8 or higher. AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops, available only at alkavision.com, combine a unique formula of only the most alkaline minerals. AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops alkalize your water, ridding the body of harmful toxins, and helps you regain health and energy. Alkalizing your water by simply adding 10 drops of AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops helps the body rid itself of acidic waste, increases oxygen content, and raises the pH of your body to healthy levels. And bacteria and viruses cannot survive in an alkaline high pH environment. Order your bottle of AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops for only $29.95 at alkavision.com. That's ALKAvision.com. Or call 269-409-1776. 269-409-1776. Alkalize your body. Supercharge your health at alkavision.com today.
We all know that Berkey Water Purification Systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.
Mike Nocks is with us, White Harvest Seed Company, whiteharvestseed.com, whiteharvestseed.com. And you'll get a chance to meet him at the Get Prepared Expo and spend some time with him at his booth. And you'll be able to buy his seeds. Mike, we're going to give out some seeds, right?
That's exactly right. I was just going to tell you to mention that the first 100 people each day to your show, we'll give them a packet of seeds. Some of them will be some of your favorites, some of your favorite tomatoes, and some like basils and stuff like that. So, yeah, definitely come by. The first 100 people each day are going to get a freebie.
Mike, those seeds are really, really excellent. And you talked about containers before. We have these tubs. They're about 20 gallons, and they're called lick tubs. And what they are is there's a protein supplement that we give the cows and the calves in the winter. And they just go over and lick these tubs. And what's left is this old 20-gallon bucket, if you will. And what we do is we fill it with soil, drill some holes in the bottom, about 2 inches off the bottom, and let the water drain out, fill it with soil, and plant our vegetables in there, and they grow really well. What about tires? We have friends who take tires, literally used tires, and they cut the rims or the sidewalls off, and they just have like a ring, and they fill it with soil, and they plant an individual, let's say tomatoes, in 3 or 4 tomato seeds in one of those tire rings, and then they'll plant cucumbers in another one, then they'll plant other vegetables in other ones, and they have these in the garden, and they make a garden out of these tires. Have you experienced and experimented with that?
Yes, I have. Actually, we like I said earlier, we have containers and the raised beds and the row crop in our gardens, and we have used tires, and we actually still are. We got there's a local guy that I get some big old truck tires. You know, the bigger the space inside, a little bit more flexibility you have with how much you can plant in it, and we double them up and fill them up with soilless mix, and I also have a source, a local good friend of mine, allows us to get some tree mulch. He has a sawmill, and I filled up with that. And over the years, man, that breaks down into some of the nicest soil that you can use. You know, I've had people ask me though, they're worried about some of the rubber composition type stuff, that's possibly can leach into the soil. I haven't, that's always a concern. Creosote logs or like railroad ties, they leach out some of that cancerous material and stuff. But I haven't seen much research on the tires that does that type of thing. So we've had good luck with it. I mean, it grows very well. After our tomatoes, well, let me tell you this little story real quick if you got a minute, Lynn. I had one tomato that I put in there called Little Blonde Girl. It's a little yellow cherry tomato, and this little thing was just blooming like crazy early on in the season last year. And I thought, well, I'm just going to count how many tomatoes we're going to get off this, because I just want to, it was just so amazingly abundant. And I stopped counting 3/4 of the season through and there was 3,500 tomatoes off of this plant, and it was still going strong. So yeah, there's definitely, that keeps the soil warmer, because the tires are black, in the spring. So it kind of heats up the soil for you and gets your roots going well and holds a little water in a little extra. So yeah, there are some pluses to it. Now, one negative that I always hear, and one of them is even my wife sometimes, she says, I just don't like the look of the tires in the garden. But I've seen some pictures of folks where they painted it multiple colors, and it takes away the black ugliness edge, if you want to call it that. And so a lot of people do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what do we do with these tires? We just throw them out and they end up in a landfill somewhere. So there is a recycling good use, and Bill Whaley would I'm sure support the use of these tires. Bill Whaley's our junk man. He's going to be at the expo as well, talking about how to use things that people throw away and survive on things that people throw away. So the tires, I think, are a good way to go. I really do. We have, we don't use creosote. We have some old railroad ties here on the farm, but I don't think that's a good way to go for planting a garden. I like the concrete blocks. I like stones, that you find in nature. I like the tires. And what we've seen is, literally cut the sidewall out. So what you have is the tread area of the tire. And then Mike talked about stacking them. That means put one on top of another. So now they're twice as high, and you have twice as much soil. And we come back, Mike, let's talk about what kind of seeds we should start in our garden, what we should start right now. Should we plant carrots, spinach? What do we start? And give us a feel for that. We'll be right back. Mike Nocks, whiteharvestseed.com. What's so special about the Get Prepared Expo? Imagine having the opportunity to learn from some of the best preparedness and survival instructors available today. The faculty of USAPrepares.com. Imagine meeting your radio instructors all in one place. The last weekend in March. Imagine having lunch or dinner at a table with your instructors. And the cost? $10.80. Imagine having your favorite instructors autographing and personalizing your new books. Imagine buying Berkey water filters at deep discounts, the lowest price in the country. Imagine buying freeze-dried long-term storage food at the lowest price in the country. You don't have to imagine. This is real. It's at the Get Prepared Expo, the biggest and best preparedness expo there is, March 27, 28, and 29 in Lebanon, Missouri. One-day tickets are $8 on the website, getpreparedexpo.com. Getpreparedexpo.com.
This alert just came in. This special announcement is for business owners and leaders of organizations who've been waiting for the right time to build. General Steel has made it impossible to wait any longer with rock-bottom prices that could save you thousands. That's right, General Steel, America's leader in pre-engineered structures, is offering buildings at prices you will never see again. Don't miss these prices. A 50 by 100 for $35,000. You heard right. That's 5,000 square feet for $35,000. Manufacturers, if you need a larger building, try a 100 by 100 commercial building for $129,000. You can't afford to rent with these prices. Imagine a 70 by 100 foot church building for under $69,000. With the economy improving and interest rates still at historic lows, you can't afford to wait. So call 866-91-STEEL. Lock in your price now. Call 866-91-STEEL. That's 866-917-8335.
I'm Vincent Finelli of USAPrepares.com. As most of you know, I broadcast weekday mornings on GCN from 9 to 11. And I'm also a full-time farmer. Add to that mix the weekly meetups and the Get Prepared Expo, and this combination makes for a demanding schedule. On the farm, we raise grass-fed Black Angus cattle and provide them with the best variety of summer and fall grasses available, Our cattle are exposed to the extremes of weather, the toxins in the air, and the electromagnetic radiation that's all around us. So even the best grasses and food that we provide are not enough. Our cattle require minerals and supplements for strong health and resistance to disease. And so do we. For these reasons, my mother, our children, Mrs. Finelli, and I all take Longevity, Beyond Tangy Tangerine, De-Stress, Glucogel, and EFA+. USAPreparesTeam.com. And thank you for being in class today.
By now, you may have heard a bit about Bitcoins. But did you know Bitcoins are now over an $8.5 billion market? And did you know that over 65,000 businesses now accept Bitcoins? Listen, if you're already earning Bitcoins or trying to make money in the Bitcoin market, you've got to know bidbit.co. Why? Because bidbit.co is where you can easily receive Bitcoins by selling and auctioning off your own personal items or promote business products and services for Bitcoins. You heard right. Whether personal or business, you can now buy, sell, and auction your products and services quickly, easily, and securely for Bitcoin at bidbit.co, the first and only marketplace website to offer BidBit Escrow, a proprietary technology which gives buyers and sellers security and peace of mind because all transactions are protected. Start today. It's free to join, free to post, free to auction, and free to bid at bidbit.co. Buy, sell, bid, or auction everything Bitcoin. That's www.bidbit.co, bidbit.co.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
Mike Nocks is with us, whiteharvestseed.com, whiteharvestseed.com. I just got an email from Ed Marvini. His travel arrangements are booked. He is flying into Springfield, and he's going to be with us at the farm, and he's going to be with us at the expo. He's going to be teaching a seminar on how to start your e-commerce business. He's going to give you the tips and the tricks, and he'll help you set up your business. If you want, he'll put one together turnkey for you. But he's got 2 seminars, and you can have dinner with Ed Marvini. And Alexis Nagel is, she just confirmed she's coming, UV Packlight. So she's all set. She'll be with us. And Mike Nocks is going to be giving away a couple 100 packs of seeds to the first 100 each day that come to his booth. So my favorite seeds. So the same ones that I grow here at the farm. So if you're interested, that's Mike Nocks at his booth, first 100 each day, Saturday and Sunday. Mike, let's talk about what do we grow? What do we plant right now?
Well, that's a great question. You know, this time of year, a lot of people are anxious to get out in their gardens, and of course, things like corn and melons and cantaloupe, you know, those and squash, they're later in the season, you know, after the frosts are past for sure. But right now, the things that you could be planting that would be beneficial be things like beets, your broccoli, your cabbage, carrots, cauliflower, any of your greens, you know, your lettuce, your spinaches, kale, onions and peas even, are things that you could be out in your garden areas, you know, within the next couple of weeks. You know, they generally have a time frame. You plant these type of things 4 to 6 weeks before the last frost in your area. And I know you have listeners all over the country and all over the world, so they'll back it back about 4 to 6 weeks from the last frost date on a normal year. Of course, this year is kind of an unusual year. You know, people in Boston, I don't think are going to be out in their gardens for a while yet, but you know, so, but back it back about 4 to 6 weeks from your last frost date, and you can be planting any of these things. Now, things like peppers, tomatoes, eggplants, those things, you start inside, about 6 to 8 weeks before your frost date, because you won't want to put them out till after your frosts are passed. But you want to get them started now. You don't want to start the seed, for those type of things, in May. It'll just make your season a lot longer. You won't have tomatoes till late in the year. So yeah, there's some things you need to be starting inside, and then like those other things, be starting them. You could be actually planting them out in your gardens right now, pretty close in most areas, Midwest.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So for right now, let me make sure I've got this right. Planting right now, this would be outside: beets, broccoli, cabbage, carrots, cauliflower, correct?
Yes, you can do the broccoli, cabbage outside and the cauliflower. Ideally, treat them like you do your tomatoes and peppers. Start them inside would be your best bet, but just to get them a good start before you put them outside. But you could plant a few out, and if the weather breaks and keeps continuing to get warmer, you'll have a head start.
Mike, since you've been raising and experimenting and developing your seeds and testing for germination, how well do you think the typical person who's listening to this broadcast right now will do planting his or her first garden? Let's say they used your seeds, okay? Mm-hmm. And let's say they follow your method. How successful do you think they'll be if they plant that garden within, let's say, 25 feet of their back door?
Well, again, there's some other factors. That's a great question. You got to make sure you have at least hours of sunlight wherever you're going to have your garden spot. At least 6 hours of sunlight a day. The more, the better for most of your crops. But with our seed, our germination rates, like I said, we test every 10 months, and if they don't match the state standards, of course, and then we have to match our personal standards. And if they follow the directions that we have on each packet has its own planting guide with it, and we send a planting guide with every order that people buy from us, and it has all types of information from starting seeds all the way up to saving seeds in it, and we'll be giving those away free at the expo. And there are some things when you're seed starting, which we'll be having a seminar about that, I'm sure, at the expo. But there's so many little factors. But if you do it right, anybody can be successful. Now, of course, the weather is something that we can't control. Whether it's a drought or whether it's rains all the time or cold or a late frost but for the most part, you can have success. If you do the little bit of research, educate yourself, and continue to apply yourself and to do it right, people can grow their own food and just not be reliant on someone else, and and you can know that it's good quality, more healthier for you than what you're getting in the stores.
Mm-hmm. Mike Nocks, I've been thinking about what you said, and I think there's so much importance in what you said about the size of that garden. And if you're going to start for the first time, I agree with you, absolutely agree. Don't tear up the yard and and make a garden out of the entire yard. Why not start with a small garden? How about 10 feet by 10 feet or 4 feet by 16 feet or, something like that, where you can actually, or even smaller, maybe 4 feet by 8 feet, where you can actually spend time, make sure that, the plants get a good start. You protect them from predators. You protect them from, the elements. Mm-hmm. And have a success, a stunning success rather than a colossal failure, right?
especially for first timers, or early in their education experience, because if you, like I said earlier, if you start out too big, it'll just get away from you for the most part. You'll run out of time, and just all too many factors are in. But if you can, start out small, then just do the basic stuff. Things that you're going to use. Green beans is always a staple. Tomatoes, peppers,
Mm-hmm.
lettuce, those type of things. Don't go crazy on these wild, funny shaped things per se, or the things that just are for looks, in the sense of have no really edible value to them. Those are neat to grow later on when you've got to the point that you've perfected your methods and everything, and then you'll have a lot more enjoyment with that. But just stick with the basics, as I tell folks for the start with, especially the first timers, because you can't that's one of the most exciting things when we go to shows is that when a first timer comes up to us and you can just see that excitement in their eye, and their eyes like, hey, tell me what I need to do to grow my own food, and you can just see the enthusiasm. And I always try to tell folks, I don't do anything that's going to kill that enthusiasm, if you follow what I'm saying, and it'll just grow and continue to grow over the years.
Mike, I was thinking when I was very young, my mother and I planted some seeds, and they were carrots and radishes. Mm-hmm. And it was the neatest thing to watch those seeds germinate. The leaves pop out, and then ultimately we could pull the carrots and the radishes out of that soil and eat them, wash them and eat them. And I think that for young people, I think that's a great way to go. You can start them inside. You can start them at the kitchen table. You can, plant a small tray and you can absolutely be successful. Do you think that still is true, or is there a better way?
Well, that's a great story, Vincent, because we were like the show. We just came back from the lawn and garden down here in Nashville. There was one day my wife had a customer, a lady with her family, and had two boys, probably 8-10 years old, somewhere in that range. And they were so psyched out to start their own garden. And the mom says, okay, you each pick out one variety of seed, but they had no idea what they needed to do. And I'm not just talking to kids, even the parents. It was their first time of ever even thinking about doing any garden. And so my wife, said and explained to them, one boy wanted to grow carrots. And so Diane went through all the processes of that and everything. You could just see their faces light up. And then the other boy wanted to grow strawberries. And of course, we don't grow strawberries from seed per se. And so we had to give him something else. But the point of the matter is there is still a demand for it. And what I've noticed over the years is that there's more and more people getting on board with the home garden. I mean, they're just saying, hey, we're getting tired of paying, this high dollar for stuff that's coming from who knows where and who knows what it's sprayed with, and just, we grow ourselves where they're concerned about their family's health. So yeah, that's definitely a stronger movement almost every year as what we've noticed over the last 5, for sure.
Mike, you said something very interesting, sprayed with who knows what. Richard Linebaugh is going to be with us, and he owns Hewitt Messenger Well Drilling Company in Springfield, Missouri. And he was telling us a story on the air about how wells have been contaminated with the insecticides that were sprayed on an orchard. So when if you extrapolate this out, this is runoff from an orchard that went into the ground that contaminated underground water. That is more difficult to do than be contaminated by what's sprayed right on the food that we eat, right? So we are eating food that if we buy commercially raised food, there's a great likelihood that has been sprayed with all kinds of chemicals, and that the ground that the food is grown in has been sprayed previously. And before that, and before that, and before that. So we are really, really becoming sicker with these chemicals, insecticides, and poisons that are on our food and systemic within our food. So if you decide that you're going to grow your own food, you can control that process. And you can either apply chemicals or not. It's up to you. Isn't that right, Mike?
Exactly right. If you're in a situation where you're not able to even grow your own food, let's just say you're an apartment dweller or whatever type thing, or you just don't have the land for it to do it, go to the local farmer markets. I mean, there's 2 of them in Springfield that are truly outstanding, and there's lots of very good certified organic growers that bring their produce in there every week. I think it's every Tuesday and Saturday or something like that. One on South 60 and one up there on the Battlefield Mall area. And I think folks that come out there that just, they take pride in what they produce, I guess is the best way to say it. And they're not spraying with any of that nasty stuff. And you can get some really good quality produce there that you'll definitely taste the difference over the store-bought stuff.
Mike, I've jumped into, in my younger days, I've jumped into pools that are really, really cold and I mean, literally shock you because of the temperature difference between, the air temperature and the water temperature. And I've been thinking about the temperature of the water that we water our garden with. Are we shocking our plants and slowing down their growth by using cold water out of a faucet? Shouldn't we try to let that water warm up? Let's talk about that when we come back. Mike Nocks, WhiteHarvestSeed.com. So who else will you meet at the Get Prepared Expo? For starters, from Republic Broadcasting, John Moore and John Statmiller. From GCN, Aaron and Brad Dakins, Joyce Riley, and me, Vincent Finelli. Joining us are the instructors whom you've learned to trust. Surgeon of the Year, Dr. Norman Shealy. Engineer, Matt Stein. The real Fox Mulder of the X-Files, Dr. Richard Allen Miller. Author and analyst, Captain John Regan. Your counterterrorist from Central America, Mike Ma. Dental Center owner and my dentist, Dr. Howard Shayne. Radiation instructor, Craig Douglas. Author and survivalist, Rich Sheben. Author, Judy Dollarhite. Cancer Center owner from Mexico, Dr. Patrick Vickers. Bug out expert and pilot, Captain Bill Sermo. Beekeeper, Jeff Maddox. Seedsman, Mike Knox. Author, Gayla Pruitt. Author, Harry Cooper. Food expert, Joe Acapinti. And Bill Whaley, the Junk Man. March 27, 28, and 29. Get preparedexpo.com, the largest preparedness and survival expo in the USA.
Are you hungry for delicious, nutritious, rich, and satisfying home-cooked meals? Discover the Vita Clay 4-in-1 Smart Organic Cooker. Unglazed Zisha clay, an ancient secret that makes this fast multi-cooker so special. Infusing your food with incredible flavors, perfect texture, vitamins, and minerals for your good health. It's a slow cooker, rice cooker, a steamer, plus a yogurt maker. Go to VitaClayChef.com and enter promo code RADIO20 for 20% off at checkout. That's VitaClayChef.com.
It's no secret that government and big business buy in bulk and get huge discounts not available to the little guy. Until now. Introducing a breakthrough crowd buying website where people can join together, buy in bulk, and get massive discounts on millions of popular products. It's TogetherSave.com. TogetherSave.com. You can save 20, 30, or even 50% off tablets, smartphones, cars, appliances, textbooks, sports equipment, video games, and much more. All with free delivery. Check it out. TogetherSave.com. Visit now and start group buying today at TogetherSave.com.
What good is a Big Berkey water filter?
We get that question a lot here at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. And in a word, the answer is protection. Protection from water main breaks, E. coli contamination, environmental chemical spills, pesticide runoff, chlorine taste and smell, and all forms of fluoride. Plus, Big Berkey water filters are the original gravity water filter system and most trusted on the market for a reason. Tested by multiple independent NSF EPA certified labs, they are the gold standard in water purification. At only 1.7 cents a gallon, a single set of filters can last for 5 to 10 years. That means big savings. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get a Big Berkey today at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. GCN listeners receive 5% off all ceramic filter systems. Visit our website or call 1-877-99-BERKEY. That's 877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
The human body is extraordinary. Despite all the stresses we inflict upon it, it still works hard to stay in balance. Thousands upon thousands of people rely upon Heart and Body Extract to help their body stay balanced. This excellent 100% natural herbal formula helps maintain healthy blood pressure levels, cleans arteries, promotes good circulation, balances cholesterol, and more. HB Extract, paired with healthy lifestyle choices like good nutrition and exercise, can give you a life free of pain, sickness, and fear. Recapture your youthful vitality and experience your body healing itself with the aid of HB Extract. It's extremely effective and it starts working in just days. Visit hbextract.com to learn more and to read scores of testimonials from satisfied customers. And we've never increased our price in over 10 years. That makes Heart and Body Extract as great a value now as it was the first day we sold it. A healthy heart is a happy heart. Call 866-295-5305 or go to hbextract.com.
The Genesis Communications Network is one of America's premier broadcasters of captivating talk radio. We thank you for listening. Now, just imagine, there are thousands of people who are just as passionate about radio as you are. But what you may not realize is how easy and affordable it is to advertise with us. Radio commercials for your business could be heard on hundreds of radio stations across the U.S. every day. We can help you by creating an effective radio advertising campaign for your company. From script writing to producing your commercials, commercial, just like the one you're listening to right now. No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Mike Nocks is with us, and we're talking about growing your garden. And one of the questions I had from Mike Nocks is, what about water temperature? I've jumped in a pool, and it's been freezing cold, and it's a shock to the system. How important is the water temperature? And, of course, the soil temperature when we're starting seeds, Mike?
Well, that's another great question, Vincent. You've done your homework today. Hey, the water situation, that's why we recommend to a lot of people water either early morning or late evening. Now, there's rules of debate there. Some people say don't do it at night because it doesn't have time to evaporate. But if you water at soil level, that shouldn't be an issue. But yeah, there is an issue about transplant shock or shocking the plants to a point that it will stunt them. So if you're using really, really cold water, a lot of people have a tub of water, maybe a watering tub, rainwater barrel, whatever, that they put out near their gardens or next to their houses, and that water temperature will acclimate during the days during the summer, so you don't have to worry about putting it on when it's extremely cold straight from the faucet. That brings up another good story. We were down at the Arkansas Flower and Garden Show a couple of weeks ago, and a lady came up to me, and the old timers, how they would tell the soil temperature was good, they would sit down bare bottomed out in their gardens, and if it was too cold on their backsides, then they knew it was too cold in the soil. But she came up with even another story of some of her ancestors or friends that she had heard, that if you go out in the spring on a full moon and you go out and don't have any clothes on, and you can walk barefooted in your garden, and you can stay outside for at least a couple hours and work in your garden in the middle of the night next to a full moon, then your soil's ready. So I thought that was an interesting old-time story that they were telling me. Now, today, I don't know if you get away with that today. You might get a phone call from your neighbors or something, but
or even worse. You might get a visit as a result of a phone call from your neighbors.
Yeah, that adds a whole new meaning to planting by the moon signs and stuff there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, Mike, how important is that to plant by in a full moon? Is there truth to that? What's your experience?
Oh, definitely. That the Old Farmer's Almanac. There are so many truths that are in there, certain times to plant potatoes or planting seeds, and depending on how the moon, whether it's a full moon, half moon, or a waning moon or whatever, there are so many of those old-time techniques that the old-timers learned years and years ago, and they had to. I mean, their food supply was directly related to how good they produced. If they didn't have a good year, they struggled, the old pioneers type people. So, yeah, there is a lot of truth to that old stuff. I'm a big believer in that.
Well, the reason I ask, Mike, is we have a wonderful neighbor, and he grows a fabulous garden. He might even approach the quality of the gardening that you do, and he is he's a follower of planting by the moon. He really is, and his garden is absolutely spectacular. Mm-hmm. So, should we try to get a copy of the Farmer's Almanac so we can, learn about that? Is that something you recommend?
I think that'd be a great resource for folks to use. You definitely, I believe that. You bet. There's many places that you can get that from. Your local feed store generally has them, but check it out online. I think they even have a great website, the farmersalmanacweb.com, I believe, and you can go on there and get all kinds of info.
Yeah, Mike, we've got a little farm supply company in our little town here, and there's your sign, and your seeds are right in there. I was just delighted to see that, and I've told the management there who you really are and what you do, and they're looking forward to spending some time with you at the expo. So we've invited them to be our guests at the Get Prepared Expo, and I'm talking about the MFA here in town.
Yeah,
so
Judy and them, you bet. Excellent. Yeah.
Yep. And so that's gonna be a lot of fun, Mike. So what are we going to learn in your seminar? If you could give us, we got about a minute or two, maybe less than that.
We're going to be talking from anywhere. Well, we can talk about in an hour, but we're going to be talking mostly about seed starting, seed growing. We'll be talking about some bug problems, how to deal with squash bugs, which is always a problem in any garden you go to.
Yeah.
And, just kind of a basic overview as much as we can talk about. We'll answer questions, and we've updated our PowerPoint presentation, so it'll be all fresh and new for everybody.
Great. Mike Nocks is going to be with us at the Get Prepared Expo, March 28 and 29, Lebanon, Missouri, and you can have lunch with him, you can have dinner with him, and you can spend time, ask him all your questions. Write them down before you come, so you'll have them with you, and Mike Nocks and family will be with us for the weekend. Hey, Mike, thanks so much. WhiteHarvestSeed.com.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Mike Nocks.
Attention listeners, SurvivalLife.com is giving away free EverStrike permanent matches for a limited time only. These matches are waterproof and will light in any weather condition, rain, snow, or sleet. It will still throw a spark. Its built-in ferro rod strikes at 3,000 degrees, and it is good for 15,000 strikes. Normally, $15. Today, it's free. Get yours at freesurvivalmatch.com. That's freesurvivalmatch.com. Hurry, supplies are limited. Visit freesurvivalmatch.com today.
It's happening again. The feds are trying to ban your freedom to own body armor. In January, a newly introduced bill, H.R. 378, will take away your right to buy Level 3 and higher body armor. Katie Armor offers the most affordable Level 3 body armor packages on the market today. Protect yourself. Buy your body armor now before it's too late. Go to katiearmor.com. That's CATIarmor.com. Come and take it.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Here is what one doctor has to say about Extendovite.
I would like to thank you, Don, for making my job so much easier, because your products just make it so simple, right? To fool around with a lot of exotic things that don't work, we can just put them on your product and things start to work almost right away. I've had dozens of patients with heart problems who have corrected them, and what it's doing, there's so much garlic in there that has a yeast-killing effect. The yeast is a big problem in the gut, pushes the liver hard. It also has metal chelating effect, and most of the other herbs in there I find that strengthen the arteries. They help to neutralize free radicals. Your remedy close to what we do in our program as you can get as far as one supplement goes. It's working on the gut, it's working on the liver, it's working on the arteries. What more can you ask for?
To get your Extendovite, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Everyone all set? Cocked, locked. Here we go. Hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com. Dr. Joel Wallach is with us. Welcome, Dr. Joel Wallach.
Well, thank you, Vincent. Always appreciate your hospitality.
Dr. Wallach, last night I was at the meetup, the USA Prepares meetup at Jimmy's Egg in Springfield, Missouri. And I mentioned to the meetup group, my mom was there. My mom loves coming to the meetups. And we had a packed house last night. It was really neat. And I happened to mention, and my mom did not expect me to say this, and she probably didn't want me to, but I mentioned that she has congestive heart failure and has for quite a while. And she had been coughing and bringing up mucus. And I asked you about it the last time we were on the air, a couple months ago, or maybe even less than that. And I mentioned to you that you had that, and you said that's easy to fix. And you suggested that a person with congestive heart failure takes something that that I take called de-stress. That's D, the letter D as in Delta, hyphen stress. And I take de-stress, and so I added that to my mom's supplement regimen, and her coughing stopped. And it wasn't instant.
How long did it take for the coughing to stop?
Well, probably it stopped, or it started to stop within a couple days, and then within 3 weeks, it was almost gone, and now maybe 4 or 5 weeks later, it's gone. And she takes 2 in the morning, 2 de-stress in the morning, and 2 in the with dinner. Is that what you would have expected?
Yes, and of course, we've known the cause of congestive heart failure for 300 years. It was actually discovered in 1742 by a Japanese naval surgeon. And the whole story of this is in the book Epigenetics, The Death of the Genetic Theory of Disease Transmission. Now, congestive heart failure is a deficiency of a single vitamin. We've known it for 300 years. Of course, medical doctors make a big deal out of it, and they give you drugs for years. And when you start getting fluid in your lungs and you start coughing, you're getting towards the terminal event here, okay? And that's usually what causes death, is you drown in your own juice in your lungs because your heart isn't being efficient, and so the fluid backs up in the lungs. Well, basically what happens is, I've done this literally hundreds and hundreds of times over the last 30 years. You get somebody who's on the heart transplant list for 3 years. They're on 27 drugs, including diuretics, water pills to keep the fluid from building up in their lungs. And they'll take digitalis, which is something that tries to make the heart beat more efficient. Is actually a sort of a takeoff on a herb called foxglove, or even in English, hawthornberry. And that's how they manage it. And when the management didn't work anymore, they'd give you a heart transplant. So they'd make $500,000 on congestive heart failure, if they caught you before you died. Well, you give the 90 essential nutrients. I like the point where you said, in addition to her basic program, which is the 90 for Life program, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 essential amino acids, 3 essential fatty acids. Then you throw in the de-stress capsules, which has that one vitamin in mega doses. And how much does your mom weigh?
About 100 pounds. Yeah,
100 pounds, 2 of those capsules of de-stress on top of her basic program twice a day would be perfect for her. A 250-pound, 300-pound guy, I'd give him 12 of those capsules a day. And I've had a 300-pound guy who was on 27 prescription drugs. He had congestive heart failure, cardiomyopathy heart disease, coronary artery disease. And to make a long story short, in 5 days' time, Vincent, just like your mom, well, this was even better. This guy's cardiologist and some consulting cardiologists took him off the heart transplant list, took him off of 27 prescription drugs, and declared him to be perfectly normal after that, just after 5 days, after 3 years of suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do this hundreds of times a year, and it's because congestive heart failure is, in fact, a deficiency of a single vitamin. And people always say, which one is it? Which one is it? Well, I don't like to tell them that, because then they'll run to some store and they'll buy that one vitamin and it won't work. And the reason why it won't work is it works as a part of a recipe, just like your grandmother's secret recipe for angel food cake recipe. And the only one you like is McCormick's liquid vanilla extract. You put that in a cake pan, put it in the oven at 375 degrees for 30 minutes. You pull it out, all you got is burnt vanilla extract, because you left out the other 24 ingredients. And so you have to use the entire recipe. And so that's why I call it the secret sauce, because I don't want people to injure themselves by not doing the entire recipe.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can tell you, Dr. Wallach, that you and I were at the Hangout in Springfield, the restaurant where we meet, a couple of years ago. And I mentioned to you that I sit behind the monitors, when I'm not out on the tractor or out with the cows or cutting the fields or raking the fields or baling the hay or, feeding the cows. When I'm not doing that, when I'm not farming or working on fencing and repairing equipment, I'm behind the screens in the studio at the farmhouse. And I keep the screens as far away from me as I can. I cannot touch the screens. They're that far away. But yet my eyes, I mentioned to you that because I prepare 2 hours before each broadcast, my eyes would hurt by the end of the broadcast. So 4 hours in front of the monitors was kind of rough on my eyes and it burned. And I mentioned that to you, and we were having dinner at during your presentation. at the meetup, and you said, "Oh, I can fix that," and I was kind of stunned. Like, really? I thought, that took lenses and glasses and an eye appointment to do that. And he said, no, just take some de-stress. And that's when I first really started learning about de-stress. So I took the de-stress, and it absolutely worked. Our daughter came to visit us, and, she's behind the computer screen. I guess if you have a job today, you're probably behind a computer screen, and just about everybody's eyes hurt. Well, Dr. Wallach, is this almost a universal statement that taking de-stress will improve and help those eyes, those strained eyes from burning and aching?
Oh, absolutely. You have to appreciate, Vincent, that all tissues in the body, whether it's the brain and the eyes are really one tissue. Kind of like your arms are part of your body. They're just kind of sticking out, but it's still the muscles and the bones are like the muscles and bones in your core body. Same way with your eyes. Really, your eyes are an extension of your brain. Whatever your brain needs, your eyes need. Whatever your eyes need, your brain needs. And every tissue in the body, every cell, every organ, every system requires all 90 essential nutrients. Your eyes are no different. And when you look at a lot of these multiples on the market, they'll say complete nutrition. And they got 23 nutrients in it and maybe 9 minerals. Well, we're going to get the other 51 minerals, and we're going to get the other 77 nutrients. And so when they claim complete nutrition, they're really way off base, and they should be charged with false advertising, because the body requires 90 essential nutrients, and the medical system and even nutritionists and dietitians make the assumption you're going to get a certain amount of nutrition from your food. And really, if you're to be successful, there was a new research project came out just last month in February that said that the minimum daily requirements only will allow you to barely survive. The minimum daily requirements for these nutrients, they're only talking about 18 of them, will just allow you to barely survive. If you want to flourish, now this is in the top nutrition journal, the Journal of the American College of Nutrition. This is the Journal of the American Medical Association for Nutrition, right? And they came out in their lead article last month and said, to flourish, is the words they used, to flourish, you require 2,500 times a minimum daily requirement. You need 2,500 times a minimum daily requirement. And I've been yelling about this since the 1960s when I started doing those autopsies in the big NIH project with Marlon Perkins from the old Mutual Omaha Kingdom show. And I was saying, look, I'm finding type 2 diabetes, a human genetic disease in crocodiles. There's something wrong there. And I'm finding sickle cell anemia, supposedly a genetic disease in the African American community. I'm finding that in hummingbirds and crocodiles and deer. And when I published all this in this book that came out after 10 years on that project, that book, Vincent, is in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure because I was recognizing all these things in 454 species of animals. So it had to be more universal than a genetic thing in the African American community or the human community. And so it turns out that all these things are just simple nutritional deficiencies, and they were mislabeled as genetically transmitted by the medical system, and that's why they never made any progress. They were treating it as a genetic disease as opposed to a simple nutritional deficiency. And I treat them as simple nutritional deficiencies, just get rid of them in a couple of weeks.
When you mention nutritional deficiencies, something that I've just learned about is gender fluidity. And so we have now pangender, transgender, we have homosexuality, and the new term, gender fluidity. I said to the meetup group, last night I said, how many of you are men? And they looked at me like, are you serious? So all the men raised their hands. And I said, okay. How many of you are women? Okay. And I said, do you all know, right? I mean, you all know whether you're men or women, right? Well, I just learned this new term, gender fluidity. Now, is it possible? And that's when somebody feels like, well, I'll be a female, like for now, and then I changed my mind, and then no, I changed my mind back again, and that's all in the morning, right? So this could go on a couple times a day. It could go on a couple times a week. It could go on, a person could be a female for the whole month, and then switch. Well, is this possible that this is a nutritional deficiency that this is happening? Because when I was growing up, everybody knew whether you used the boys' room or the girls' room in elementary school. Everybody knew.
Well, you hit a warm nail right on the head. 25% of the population in the UK, 25% of the British population has a sexual dysfunction. We have 8% in the United States now, and it's the fastest growing, I'll call it a congenital event. We don't call people defects. Right? It's a congenital event, and it's 8%, and it's the fastest growing congenital event in America. You know, everybody's heard the term asexual, you know, where somebody just has no interest in sex. Everybody has a crazy Aunt Ruthie, never went on a date. They have a crazy Uncle Frank, never went on a date. And everybody wanted them to house sit for them. You knew they weren't going to have big orgies and parties in your house when you left town for a week, and they would house sit and keep the spiders out and mow the lawn and so forth. And everybody loved them. They were great for the family, but they just were never interested in boys if they were a girl, or interested in girls if they were a boy. And then you have the bisexuals who loved having orgasms, and this may explain.
Hold that thought. We're going into a break. The collapse of the United States is a mathematical certainty. There's no doubt about it. U.S. Air Force Captain and author John Regan will explain why this will happen and what you need to do about it right now. We're not trying to scare you, but the collapse is coming. This and 150 seminars and exhibits are included in your pass. $8 online and $10 a day at the door. Saturday and Sunday, March 28 and 29 at the Get Prepared Expo, Cowan Civic Center, Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com. Ladies, for $450, you can buy a brand new AR-15 rifle kit at the Get Prepared Expo. Because this AR-15 is a kit, there's no paperwork and no registrations required. It's totally private and all 100% legal. AR-15 kits and seminars on how to assemble them. 150 seminars and exhibits, $8 online, $10 at the door. AR-15 kits, $450 at the GetPreparedExpo.com. Saturday and Sunday, March 28th and 29th, Cowan Civic Center, Lebanon, Missouri.
Mike Stenerson from Midas Resources. At no time in history have precious metals been more important, certainly not in my 22 years in the industry. The dollar has lost over 90% of its value in the last 60 years. No fiat currency has ever survived the government printing presses. Ours is not immune. The time is now to be proactive. 1-800-686-2237, extension 116. Anything tied to the dollar is at risk. CDs, annuities, 401ks, IRAs, stocks, bonds, you name it, so decide. Do you want to leave a legacy of wealth or debt for your family? The choice is yours. Call me at 1-800-686-2237, extension 116. That's 1-800-686-2237, extension 116. Be proactive, not reactive. Call 1-800-686-2237, extension 116.
Most people know that drinking pure high alkaline pH water is the most important factor in maintaining high energy and vibrant health. Most experts agree that the water you drink should be at a pH level of 8 or higher. AlkaVision Plasma pH drops combine a unique formula of the most alkaline minerals. Using plasma pH drops is the best way to make your water alkaline to help you get rid of acid and regain your health and energy. Simply put 10 drops in the water you drink to raise the pH to a healthy level. Alkalizing water helps your body rid itself of acidic waste and increases the oxygen content of your body. Disease organisms like bacteria, viruses, and cancer cannot survive in an alkaline high pH environment. Order your bottle of AlkaVision Plasma pH drops now by going directly to alkavision.com. That's ALKA Vision.com. Or call 269-409-1776. 269-409-1776 today.
You pick up the receiver with your heart racing and sweat dripping from your forehead. You finally muster the courage to dial the number to call into your favorite talk radio show. It rings once, twice, and then...
Hello, it's GCN. What's your name and the state you're calling from?
Surprised you got through, you squeak out.
Jason from Minnesota.
Please hold.
As you patiently wait for your turn, you begin to daydream about being a famous talk radio host and what it would be like to have your own show.
Jason from Minnesota, you're up.
Millions of loyal listeners worldwide waiting to call and talk to you.
Caller, are you there?
Cheering crowds surround you, calling out your name.
Jason! Jason! Going once, twice. Okay, we gotta move on to the next caller.
You blew it.
Huh? Wait, no!
In a Interact with the host you're listening to right now online at gcnlive.com. Click on the community link. Engage with other listeners. Ask questions. Start debates. Don't agree with the host? Let them know. Be a part of the community at gcnlive.com.
Class Dr. Joel Wallach is with us, and you'll get a chance to meet him at the Get Prepared Expo. That's March 29th. That's Sunday, March 29th. He'll be flying in, especially just to be with us. He'll be presenting seminars. We've got him scheduled for 2 seminars. You can meet him at the Longevity booth at the Get Prepared Expo. We're even having a lunch, and wouldn't it be fun to have lunch with Dr. Joel Wallach? So that's all at the Get Prepared Expo. And then Dr. Wallach is staying. He's staying for Monday's meetup. So if you'd like to meet Dr. Joel Wallach at the Get Prepared Expo, and if you'd like to come to a real fun meetup, that would be at Jimmy's Egg, Monday, the 30th, March 30th, right here in the Ozark Mountains. So Lebanon, Missouri for the expo, and then 50 miles west would be Springfield, Missouri, where we're going to have our meetup. So that's Dr. Joel Wallach and his team will be at the meetup as well as the Get Prepared Expo. Information is on the website. And if you'd like to buy de-stress the same way I do at the discount, you can just go to usapreparers.com and click on the page number 1 link that says Dr. Wallach de-stress. And it'll take you right to the page where you can buy de-stress the same way I do, at the same discounts. And you can buy the 90 for Life, Beyond Tangy Tangerine, the same way I do. And we were talking about this congenital event, this nutritional deficiency, where we see a change in our sexuality, men and women, 25% in the UK, 8% in the US. Please continue, Dr. Joel Wallach. You know, this is alarming to me.
Well, it is alarming because, Vincent, as I say, it's the fastest growing congenital event in America, and they're predicting that by 2030, we'll be at 25% of this congenital event, just like the British. Okay? And we talked about asexual people. We already mentioned bisexuals who don't care who they're having sex with. They can go either way. And then we have the people who are women who chase girls or lesbians. We have men who chase men. They're gay. And we have the heterosexuals. And then, of course, there's the hermaphrodites, which have physically both the male and female parts, which in the animal industry and in wildlife, this is in livestock and pets and laboratory animals and also wildlife. There's a big 2-page article on transgender deer. The guy thought he had a record buck, whitetail buck, shot it, and when he went up to butcher it, oh my God, it was a doe with record antlers. And turns out, and they did a great job doing the research, and it's a large amount of wildlife that have hermaphrodites. They have both sex parts. So they got male parts and female parts. And then there's transgenders in both wildlife and in livestock. They're called free martins. And being a cattleman, you've heard of free martins.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, this all happens in human beings in the 3rd to 7th week of pregnancy, when the preoptic hypothalamus, the central part of the brain, is developing, which tells you who to chase for sex. And this is totally different from your genetic gender. As soon as the sperm fertilizes the egg, whether you're a worm or a human being or an elephant or a hummingbird or whatever, as soon as the sperm fertilizes the egg, you are either an XX female or an XY male. I mean, your genetic gender is determined at that moment. But in humans, in the 3rd to 7th week of pregnancy, your brain and spinal cord is developing, and the part of the brain that tells you who to chase for sex it might be different. Then the outcome might be different based on what you're eating, what you're not eating, compared to your genetic sex. And this is where you get these transgenders individuals, and of course Bruce Jenner is involved in that, Dennis Rodman's involved in that, who are transgenders, very famous athlete transgenders. And this again there's 600 variations on this, and that's why it's so confusing. And this has been a front page story in Time magazine many, many times about transgenders and hermaphrodites and gays and lesbians and homosexuals and gay marriage and stuff. And the reason why it's so widespread now, right now, the big article came out just, a week ago, that there's 15,000 transgenders registered in the U.S. Army. There's 20,000 transgenders registered in the U.S. Air Force and the U.S. Navy. So there's over 50,000 transgenders who are outed, so to speak. They voluntarily said, I'm a transgender in our U.S. military. They're serving well. They do their jobs well, but they're transgender. And so we have to understand how to deal with the people who are there and how to prevent these events.
Dr. Joel Wallach's with us. I'm Vin Finelli. This is USAPrepares.com. This is alarming information. And I think you should consider taking supplements.
Yeah.
How many of you think the government will take care of you after a disaster? How many of you think the government took care of you after the Joplin tornado or Hurricane Sandy or Hurricane Katrina? The truth is that the government's never done a good job of taking care of disaster victims. And frankly, I'm not going to trust the government with my life. And if you're like we are, and you want to protect and defend yourself from whatever the future brings, we'll show you how at the Get Prepared Expo, Saturday and Sunday, March 28 and 29 at the Cowan Civic Center, Lebanon, Missouri. That's getpreparedexpo.com. I'm Vincent Finelli, host of the Get Prepared Expo. Are you the only one in your family who thinks about preparedness, storing water, storing food, learning about first aid, canning, dehydration, and growing a high-yield garden? Well, you're not alone. There'll be thousands of people just like you at the Get Prepared Expo. One-day weekend tickets, $8 online, $10 a day at the door. Saturday and Sunday, March 28 and 29, Cowan Civic Center, Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com. That's GetPreparedExpo.com.
What good is a Big Berkey water filter?
We get that question a lot here at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. And in a word, the answer is protection. Protection from water main breaks, E. coli contamination, environmental chemical spills, pesticide runoff, chlorine taste and smell, and all forms of fluoride. Plus, Big Berkey water filters are the original gravity water filter system and most trusted on the market for a reason. Tested by multiple independent NSF EPA certified labs, they are the gold standard in water purification. At only 1.7 cents a gallon, a single set of filters can last for 5 to 10 years. That means big savings. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get a Big Berkey today at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. GCN listeners receive 5% off all ceramic filter systems. Visit our website or call 1-877-99-BERKEY. That's 877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
I'm Vincent Finelli of USAPrepares.com. As most of you know, I broadcast weekday mornings on GCN from 9 to 11. And I'm also a full-time farmer. Add to that mix the weekly meetups and the Get Prepared Expo, and this combination makes for a demanding schedule. On the farm, we raise grass-fed Black Angus cattle and provide them with the best variety of summer and fall grasses available. Our cattle are exposed to the extremes of weather, the toxins in the air, and the electromagnetic radiation that's all around us. So even the best grasses and food that we provide are not enough. Our cattle require minerals and supplements for strong health and resistance to disease. And so do we. For these reasons, my mother, our children, Mrs. Finelli, and I all take longevity beyond Tangy Tangerine, De-Stress, Glucogel, and EFA+. USAPreparesTeam.com. And thank you for being in class today.
Hi, this is Steve Sanchez, and based on a recent study, it was found that 57 million Americans had legal issues over the last 12 months, but only 60% of those studied sought out the services of a lawyer. Why? In a nutshell, affordability. Well, my friends at Legal Shield have created a solution that can help you not if, but when you need an attorney. For as little as $17 per month, Legal Shield will provide you unlimited access to qualified attorneys at an accomplished law firm for advice and counsel on legal issues, no matter how serious or trivial. For over 40 years and with 1.4 million families across North America, Legal Shield can help you, the loyal GCN listener. Representatives are standing by now to answer your questions, so call them now at 1-855-340-SAVE. That's 1-855-340-7283, or visit them at lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com.
Results will vary from case to case.
This alert just came in. This special announcement is for business owners and leaders of organizations who've been waiting for the right time to build. General Steel has made it impossible to wait any longer with rock-bottom prices that could save you thousands. That's right, General Steel, America's leader in pre-engineered structures, is offering buildings at prices you will never see again. Don't miss these prices. A 50 by 100 for $35,000. You heard right. That's 5,000 square feet for $35,000. Manufacturers, if you need a larger building, try a 100 by 100 commercial building for $129,000. You can't afford to rent with these prices. Imagine a 70 by 100-foot church building for under $69,000. With the economy improving and interest rates still at historic lows, you can't afford to wait. So call 866-91-STEEL. Lock in your price now. Call 866-91-STEEL. That's 866-917-8335.
Class, Dr. Joel Wallach's with us, and you'll get a chance to meet him at the Get Prepared Expo. That's March 29th. His team will be with us for March 28th and 29th in Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com. Dr. Joel Wallach, if you go to the internet and you type in Public Enemy #1, you get to see a lot of images. One of them happens to be Al Capone. Another one happens to be John Dillinger. What is your reaction to the term Public Enemy #1?
Well, I'm glad you brought that one up, Vincent. Of course, Public Enemy #1, I love that old TV series, The Untouchables. Right. They would always go after Public Enemy #1. They were causing the most harm in the American population, whether it was financial or robberies or murder, that sort of stuff, gangsterism. And so when you look at modern times, who causes the most mayhem amongst the American population? Well, it turns out it's the medical doctors. And so that's the title of my new CD coming out. It'll be out next week. And so you can start calling and ordering it now. We're making 5,000 copies a day because we know it's going to be big. And when you look at the mayhem created by the medical profession, and there's a lot of nice individual people who are medical doctors, okay, and nurses and things like that. But they're sort of like the people in Germany when the Nazis took over. A lot of them were just sort of paralyzed with fear because they figured if they said anything bad about the Nazis, their neighbor would talk and the Nazis would come kill them. And so they were just sort of passive. They didn't help stop all the murders, but they didn't participate. They were just sort of there. Well, the same thing is true with a lot of physicians and nurses. They are in the system, and because they're making a living that way, they just don't want to rock the boat. But when you take them home, they love their kids, and they vote, and they pay their taxes, and they're basically nice people, but they're still part of this horrible system. And when you look at the figures, it's very scary. For instance, this was a full-page story, Vincent, February 5th, 2007, in the USA Today, and the data came from the Institute of Medicine, which is the ethics watchdog for the medical system, and the Journal of the American Medical Association, the most prestigious medical journal, and certainly in America, maybe the world. The Center for Disease Control, which is a federal agency housed in Atlanta, Georgia, which tracks this kind of stuff. What they said was an annual figure, a yearly figure, medical doctors in the U.S. alone kill, injure, and infect 15 million of their customers at their workplace. They kill, injure, and infect 15 million patients in their hospitals and clinics. 15 million. If you just take out infections in hospitals, you're looking at 2 million infections each year in hospitals, of which 90,000 die. Now, Vincent, what would happen if North Korea or Iran were to send over intercontinental ballistic missiles with biological weapons and infect large population centers in America with, infect 2 million people and kill 90,000? It'd be war.
World War
III. It'd be
Right.
war. Nobody, even the most ardent war protester, would shove you out of the way to be the one to push the buttons.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's one trade that does it every year in their workplace. They don't even get an OSHA ticket. Because in 1914, they were declared a monopoly, a protected monopoly, by what was called the Flexner Report. And they became a protected monopoly, self-policing, with no oversight by any agency. Now, here's another one. Each year in America, through pharmaceuticals, through decimal point errors, just decimal point errors by the prescribing physician and the fulfilling pharmacist, medical doctors and pharmacists kill and permanently injured 1.5 million people just from wrong decimal points in their prescriptions. 1.5 million people are killed and permanently injured in America due to decimal point errors in their prescriptions. Then 15,000 seniors in America are killed every month. It's 180,000 a year when doctors send them in to have unnecessary screening tests. Because, you know, little old grannies and little old granddaddies tend to be very compliant, whatever their doctor says they're going to do. And let's say the doctor needs $60,000 for the tuition for his 2 kids to get into college this fall. He doesn't want to have a student loan, has to repay. So he'll just get granny and granddaddy to go into the hospital for a bunch of screening tests and run up a bill of $60,000, and he pays his kid's tuition, never has to pay it back because insurance paid. Now, how pervasive is this? This was a full-page article in every newspaper in America, September 7th, 2012. In many papers, it was the front page. Certainly the front page on the money page or section in the newspapers, whether it was local or national. And the article headline was, medical doctors, let's see what it say. Oh, defraud America of $750 billion each year, that's $750 billion. And in the article it said 30 cents out of every medical dollar billed to insurance companies and individual patients by medical doctors in America, 30 cents out of every dollar, Vincent, is fraudulently billed. They bill for things they did that the patient didn't need, like sending these little old grannies in for exams they didn't need or screening tests they didn't need. Or they just bill, even if they didn't do anything for you, they needed the money immediately, so they billed because they couldn't get you to come in, but you had a good insurance policy. They billed for something they didn't even do, and there's no oversight by anybody. So this has been going on for 50 years or more, okay? And so every year, medical doctors defraud the American patient of $750 billion. Nobody gets an OSHA ticket. Nobody gets their license suspended for 3 seconds. Bernie Madoff, who defrauded his investors of $3 billion, only $3 billion, went to jail for life plus 150 years. And the government spent billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars doing all the background work to make sure this guy and all his associates got put in jail. Well, here's medical doctors that do this to their patients to the tune of $750 billion a year, $750 billion. Not one doctor gets his license suspended for 3 seconds. Nobody gets an OSHA ticket and nobody goes to jail. And so this is because they're protected monopoly, self-policing, and this is why the new CD I have out, which describes all this mayhem that doctors create, guess what? That's why it's called the public enemy number one, because the medical doctors, when it comes to crime, when it comes to financial loss, in fact, 85% of all personal bankruptcies in America are due to medical bills. 85% of all personal bankruptcies in America are due to medical bills. So medical doctors, as a group, as a system, certainly are public enemy number one.
Dr. Joel Wallach, you know, there's some who might be listening that think what you said about death by decimal can't possibly be true. I'm here to tell you I witnessed it in the hospital with my father. Prescribed was 1/10 of a cc. He got 10 times more, 1 cc in an injection. Almost killed him. Literally almost killed him. I saw it happen. It was too late for me to do anything. The needle was, the plunger was pushed in. Boom. As 1/10 of a cc. So not 1 cc as was delivered. I saw it. It's absolutely for real. Literally almost killed him. One of the things that we need to do, class, is if you have someone in the hospital, you need to read the charts. You need to ask every person exactly what they're doing. You know, don't assume that nurse who runs in, who has 15 other things on his or her list to accomplish in the next 7 minutes, is really giving 100% of the attention to your family member or you. And this is absolutely real, death by decimal. Will you be having those CDs available for sale, Public Enemy number 1, at the Expo?
Oh, absolutely. The Public Enemy number 1. We do have a DVD called Somebody Needs to Go to Jail, which covers the same material. Mm-hmm. And the book Epigenetics, which again covers the same material, but of course, in a book you can show all the tables and charts and things, so it's a lot more detail in a book than it would be on CD. But it's really crazy. You know, this is so outrageous, and of course, there's survivalists. The Preparedness Expos is a perfect place to get this information out, because people tend to be more independent. They're going to do more for themselves than the average person on the street. And we have to set the example, because it's survival of the fittest. And if we're not the fittest, we're in trouble because we're more fit than anybody else in the country, and yet it's very scary. Sometimes I know the frustration in Noah when you're running around saying these things, and everybody's saying, well, yeah, I'll be back. I got to go eat some oatmeal. You know, they don't really appreciate the gravity of the thing.
Well, that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. And I'm looking at my notes here of this broadcast, things that I've jotted down. And, you know, you mentioned that the 25% of this congenital event in the UK and 8% of us here in the United States. And by 2030, maybe 25% in the USA.
Yes.
Is this a self-limiting event?
No, it is not self-limiting because even a lesbian female can get pregnant and carry a baby. It's not genetic. It's not something, I mean, lesbian females can have 30 normal babies as long as she is taking all 90 essential nutrients to prevent these events taking place in the 3rd to 7th week of pregnancy. All of these sexual events are preventable. Now, once they happen, these babies are born. It's not a choice. They know by the time they're 3 or 4 years old that they're different. They know that by the time they're 3 or 4 years old, but societal pressure prevents them. You know, honey, you're a little boy. What are you playing with that doll for? And they jerk the doll away from them and they say, here, stop wearing mommy's clothes. You know, you're a boy. You got to wear boys' clothes. And social pressure will guide them in that direction. But once they get up into their teen years and they're going through puberty, they're being driven that way by hormones at this point, of course, and that just pushes them in whatever direction that preoptic hypothalamus tells them to go. It has nothing to do with their genetic gender. And this is the problem. And so these things are not choices. It's a choice of the parents. If the parents are taking all 90 essential nutrients, and here's what I recommend to bring this back down to zero, and that is, Vincent, we have to give, when people get engaged and they have, it's time for an engagement gift or a wedding gift, give them the 90 essential nutrients. In fact, in all my family, I give them a 90-day supply. And say, after that, it's up to you. I'll give you a 90-day supply. And I give them these CDs and books and things. Say, hey, here's why you need to do this. You know, you don't want to be crying when you have a baby that's born with Down syndrome. You don't want to be crying when a baby's born with a heart defect. You don't want to be crying when a baby's born with cerebral palsy or has something like spina bifida or any of these other horrible defects, things like muscular dystrophy, cystic fibrosis. And so what you have to do is take these nutrients, and it will prevent all these. None of these are genetic. They're all preventable with nutrition prior to conception, including congenital events that get people off the rails when it comes to what we would think of as normal heterosexual sexual behavior. It's all preventable, but once the baby's born, it's not a choice. They're driven by the preoptic hypothalamus and hormones to go the direction they're going to go.
Dr. Joel Wallach and I'll be right back right after these few short commercial announcements. And I'd like to ask him about MS. Are the symptoms reversible with nutrition? Dr. Joel Wallach. I was just looking at the Get Prepared EXPO schedule. 10 o'clock, Saturday morning. Aaron Dakins, emergency hydration. Dr. Judy Wood, where did the towers go? Evidence of free energy-directed technology on 9/11. Dr. Norman Shealy, lower your blood pressure, increase your endurance. Judy Dollarheight, water filtration at home and on the go. John Moore, violent climate change. Should you relocate? Then at 11 o'clock, Mike Ma, how to negotiate, bribe, and barter for your life. Tony Pache, long-term food storage plans for your survival. Matt Stein, when disaster strikes. Roy Birdsong, how cell phones work. Get a cell phone plan for $8 a month. Harry Cooper, history's big lies. Hitler and his wife did escape to Argentina. Glenn Meter, survival still and water distillation during an emergency. And Stormin' Norman Cantwell, doing the unthinkable to defend your life. And that's just 2 hours. We have 13 more to go. The last weekend in March. Tickets just $8 online at getpreparedexpo.com. That's getpreparedexpo.com.
I'm really glad my buddy Mark turned me on to guns80.com. I got to tell you, I didn't want to buy any more firearms. I didn't want a paperwork trail headed back to Big Brother. I want 100% privacy. I want to be an invisible gun owner. Hello? So Mark says, hey, guns80.com, Ghost AR-15. Ghost means invisible. Get it? Ghost AR-15. Guns80.com. I got a couple, if you know what I mean. Go to guns80.com or call 844-2GUNS80.
Are you hungry for delicious, nutritious, rich, and satisfying home-cooked meals? Discover the Vita Clay 4-in-1 Smart Organic Cooker. Unglazed Zisha clay, an ancient secret that makes this fast multi-cooker so special, infusing your food with incredible flavors, perfect texture, vitamins and minerals for your good health. It's a slow cooker, rice cooker, a steamer, plus a yogurt maker. Go to VitaClayChef.com and enter promo code RADIO20 for 20% off at checkout. That's VitaClayChef.com.
The human body is extraordinary. Despite all the stresses we inflict upon it, it still works hard to stay in balance. Thousands upon thousands of people rely upon Heart and Body Extract to help their body stay balanced. This excellent 100% natural herbal formula helps maintain healthy blood pressure levels, cleans arteries, promotes good circulation, balances cholesterol, and more. HB Extract, paired with healthy lifestyle choices like good nutrition and exercise, can give you a life free of pain, sickness, and fear. Recapture your youthful vitality and experience your body healing itself with the aid of HB Extract. It's extremely effective and it starts working in just days. Visit hbextract.com to learn more and to read scores of testimonials from satisfied customers. And we've never increased our price in over 10 years. That makes Heart and Body Extract as great a value now as it was the first day we sold it. A healthy heart is a happy heart. Call 866-295-5305 or go to hbextract.com.
By now, you may have heard a bit about Bitcoins. But did you know Bitcoins are now over an $8.5 billion market? And did you know that over 65,000 businesses now accept Bitcoins? Listen, if you're already earning Bitcoins or trying to make money in the Bitcoin market, you've got to know bidbit.co. Why? Because bidbit.co is where you can easily receive Bitcoins by selling and auctioning off your own personal items or promote business products and services for Bitcoins. You heard right. Whether personal or business, you can now buy, sell, and auction your products and services quickly, easily, and securely for Bitcoin at bidbit.co, the first and only marketplace website to offer BidBit Escrow, a proprietary technology which gives buyers and sellers security and peace of mind because all transactions are protected. Start today. It's free to join, free to post, free to auction, and free to bid at bidbit.co. Buy, sell, bid, or auction everything Bitcoin. That's www.bidbit.co, bidbit.co.
For over 5 years, you've been hearing about the Berkey guy, so you may know a few things about him. For example, you are well aware of the superior quality and effectiveness of Berkey water filters and accessories. But did you know the Berkeys have had independent lab tests done to prove just how effective they are? It's true, and he can email you the test results. Just visit goberkey.com. You may also know that the Berkey guy has helped tens of thousands of people get better prepared. Now here's something you may not know. GoBerkey.com has amazing specials and deals all the time on a wide variety of survival and preparedness products, most ready to ship same day. Visit the Berkey Guy at GoBerkey.com and be sure to click the red Products on Sale Now button. You can always call toll-free 877-886-3653. Again, that's 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com, home of the Berkey Guy.
Class Dr. Joel Wallach's with us. And Dr. Wallach, I have a friend who has multiple sclerosis. And she's a middle-aged gal, and she's a wonderful person. And it sure would be great to see that reversed. Is there any possibility?
Oh, absolutely. And of course, there is one little caveat here. It depends on the severity and the number of the lesions in the brain. If there's an average number of lesions in the brain, you're looking probably a couple of thousand lesions in the brain. This, as well as Parkinson's disease and Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS, are easily reversed. Certainly 100% preventable. And then when you get somebody who has MS lesions in their brain and they have, 50,000 lesions in their brain, they really got catastrophic problems there. And you can find this out when they make the diagnosis with a CAT scan or an MRI. They can actually get, per square centimeter of the brain, there's so many lesions, they can calculate it out. And so if I can get a hint of how many lesions are in somebody's brain, I can tell you the percentage of recovery. But they're all going to get benefit. Number one, you have to appreciate that it's the white matter of the brain, which makes up 75% of your brain weight, that's damaged from free radical damage. This comes from eating salad dressings and cooking oils and margarines and olive oil and coconut oil and eating processed meats with nitrates and nitrites like deli slices and sandwich meats, and those burnt meats where you get heterocyclamines and acrylamides from the burnt animal fats. All that stuff's got to stop. You have to stop the ongoing damage. So no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils of any kind, and no gluten to maximize absorption of the nutrients. Now, how much does this lady weigh, you think, Vincent?
Oh, I would say about 100 pounds.
100 pounds, okay. I'd have her eat 6 to 8 eggs a day. This is to help rebuild the myelin in the brain, which is 100% cholesterol. So we got to give her a good, healthy source of cholesterol, which is eggs. We're going to have 6 to 8 eggs a day. They can be soft scrambled butter, not margarine or oil. They can be soft boiled with soft yolk, or soft poached with a soft yolk. And then she also needs to have, at 100 pounds, I'd give her one healthy, what we call a healthy brain and heart pack per month. I'd give her an extra bottle of selenium so she could take 3 of those twice a day. I would also get her antioxidant points, or ORAC points, ORAC points, above 100,000 a day, and she could do that a fun way with 6 of our pieces of triple treat chocolate. It'll get her over 100,000 ORAC points. Or she could take 3 of the Cell Shield RTQ, R for resveratrol, T for turmeric, Q for quercetin. Take 3 of those twice a day. That'll give her 100,000 ORAC points. And we have another little product called OPCT, which is a green tea extract, and also has some more resveratrol in it. And I try to take as much resveratrol a day as you get from, 1,000 glasses of red wine a day. Okay, and I do that with 6 of our Cell Shield RTQ. You'll get, with 2 of those capsules, you get just short of 300 glasses of red wine worth of resveratrol. So I like to take 6 of those a day, get up over 1,000 ORAC points, and 1,000 glasses of red wine is very exciting without the alcohol. Now, I do like to drink a glass of red wine once in a while, so these are the things you have to do. And she's got to stay away from gluten, because that oftentimes is a basic underlying feature. It can't absorb things. I'd also throw in Smart FX. I'd give her 9 of those a day. That'll be 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner. And they contain DHAs and EPAs, which are the raw material for the brain to make neurotransmitters. And a lot of times the brain is inflamed around those lesions that go along with MS. And there's a lot of symptomatology that isn't due to direct damage, but the inflammation and the swelling around those lesions. And so you can get great improvement just by reducing the inflammation. Another way to do that is with our we call CM Plus capsules. She could take 9 of those a day and give up the Smart FX. I'd go with either one. Or if finances are not a problem, she could do both. But she could do one or the other, where the CM Plus capsules are really directed at relieving swelling and inflammation, including in the brain.
Dr. Joel Wallach, thank you so much. And I wanted to share this with you. I got a call years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago, from this lady. She called me and said, "Hey, Vinny, we need to interview Dr. Joel Wallach, and you're the only guy we got that can do it at the radio station. You're the only guy that knows what he's talking about," meaning you, that I would know what you were talking about. So I raced over to Springfield from the farm, and you and I did an interview, and then you were at an event in Springfield, and it was a great time that we had. So, class, Dr. Joel Wallach's going to be with us at the Get Prepared EXPO, March 29th, Lebanon, Missouri. Dr. Joel Wallach, thanks so much for being with us. Class, above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next is up to you.
Attention listeners, SurvivalLife.com is giving away free EverStrike permanent matches for a limited time only. These matches are waterproof and will light in any weather condition, rain, snow, or sleet. It will still throw a spark. Its built-in ferro rod strikes at 3,000 degrees, and it is good for 15,000 strikes. Normally, $15. Today, it's free. Get yours at freesurvivalmatch.com. That's freesurvivalmatch.com. Hurry, supplies are limited. Visit freesurvivalmatch.com today.
It's no secret that government and big business buy in bulk and get huge discounts not available to the little guy. Until now. Introducing a breakthrough crowd buying website where people can join together, buy in bulk, and get massive discounts on millions of popular products. It's TogetherSave.com. TogetherSave.com. You can save 20, 30, or even 50% off tablets, smartphones, cars, appliances, textbooks, sports equipment, video games, and much more. All with free delivery. Check it out. TogetherSave.com. Visit now and start group buying today at TogetherSave.com.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.